That's slowly open your eyes. Write your experience in your journal or diary. Over to Priya, madam.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. I request the participants to switch on the videos. Okay. Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. We hope you are able to work on these 10 points. Keep working on these 10 points, and then maybe after few weeks we'll see how we can observe the progress. And there was some work to be done from your side regarding shloka 9 and 10. Anybody would like to share the reflections before we go to the next shlokas? Please raise your hands. Yeah, Sister Seema. You can go ahead, you can speak.
Can I recite it, ma'am?
Hmm?
What about the sloka?
Not the shloka. Yeah, you can recite the shloka also, but we were thinking of discussing what the essence of these shlokas.
Okay, okay.
Anybody else? Yeah, Brother Partha.
Yeah, Namaste. So in this sloka, then we are merged with the inner self, and we constantly, continuously are, thinking about the inner self in a merged condition, like a sthita prajna, with constant remembrance, and then whatever the work that we are doing in the external world, there is no concept of who is doing what work is being done and who is realizing of that, right? So it is karma, karta, bhokta. There is no karma, there is no karta, there is no bhokta, right? I am not doing it. There is no work that I am actually consciously doing, and I am not realizing the results also out of that, because everything is performed with the complete merged state where the Atma, the Bhagavan, is taking care of the work. So that is what I understand from this sloka. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Rashi. Thank you. Yes, Brother Pandey.
Yeah, good morning, sister.
Yeah,
Yeah, my voice is audible.
clear, clear.
Yeah, good morning, sister. I was reading this, Bhave's Gita. He defined in a beautiful way, he said that karma plus vikarma is equal to akarma. He says that we have to be free from desire, attachment, and anger. He says that basically the vikarma is nothing, the purification of the mind to evolve to a state of selfless action in which everything is dissolved. The, the identity is also lost there. A selfless state is created. So that is what he explains about the akarma.
Thank you. Brother Venkateshwaran.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
The essence of this yoga, from the point of view of heartfulness, that the master has told three things to avoid a sense of agency. Either do all the work as dedicated master, or as a command of the master, or third one, master himself is doing. Here, ultimately, this meaning comes in how you can do without attachment and without a sense of agency. Then we have to adopt any one of the method. The best thing is master himself is doing all the work by connecting to your inner heart where master stays. Then when this is established, that is, have to practicing for sufficient time. When this is established, then always you will be doing the work without the feeling that you are doing. And in the case, all your karma actions, your tendencies will be completely melting away. So this sloga is an indication for us how to do work. Only you have to do thing that either master is doing or you are doing in command of master. Any work from morning, getting up to brushing of the teeth, taking bath, walking, taking coffee, everything you have to do. If at all you are able to do it, then no karma, no actions will be binding you. That is why your thing who is liberated. I think this is what I feel. Okay.
Thank you so much. So all your points are very valid and nice reflections. So generally what happens, when we perform karma by being in the present, that being in the remembrance of the divine, then always it will be productive. Otherwise, what happens, energy, though we will be receiving a lot of energy, but the energy dissipation keeps on happening when we are in the past. There was also the recent one of the videos I was watching of Taji about past karma. Past karma, like how when we always get stuck to the past, what happens, he was mentioning that he was saying we should not stuck to the past all the time. When we think about the past, it's fine. We have to learn from past and move on. I can share that video also in the WhatsApp group so that we can connect well with this concept, right? So when we keep on worrying about the past, and when we keep on thinking what will happen later, whether I'll be able to succeed or not, whether I'll be able to perform it or not, and over excitement in the present also. So these are the three unproductive channels where energy keeps on getting dissipated. We receive abundant of energy. What is transmission? It's the energy from the source, right? And that divine energy, when we are receiving it, actually it has an infinity potential that works in us. But that divine energy also will get dissipated when we push ourselves into these unproductive channels. So the solution lies in letting go of the past, do not worry about the future, plunge into the present moment. So that is very important. And yes, how to arrive there?
Sister,
Yeah.
little bit keep close your mic.
Okay.
No, speak now.
Is it fine?
One second. You can speak now.
Is it audible now?
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So it is as simple as that. All these four practices, the core practices of heartfulness, help us. One is the meditation, and one is the cleaning or rejuvenation, and one is the prayer that we do before meditation and before sleep, so that we are always in constant connection with the divine, and the energy that we receive through that energy, when we perform any action, then the energy is not dissipated. It will go into the productive channels, and there is productivity, there is efficiency when we perform karma. That is karma yoga. And this will also create the base for the chapter 5, this discussion, and the constant remembrance, as Brother Venkateshwaran said, that the Master himself is doing, right? So the constant remembrance. These are the 4 heartfulness practices that help us day in and day out performing the karma yoga, which leads us to get freedom or attain freedom from karma itself. Okay. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So this particular shloka talks about 3 aspects. Tadvidhi pranipatena. Know this, Arjuna, pranipataha, by submitting yourself with humility. Pariprashna, by sincerely inquiring. Sevaya, through spiritual service. The self-realized ones, the seers of reality, will guide you to real knowledge. So Arjuna will be asking how to gain knowledge, how to attain this knowledge. So there are 3 aspects or 3 qualities of a disciple that will help him receive the highest knowledge from the learned ones or the seers or the masters. I mean, the innate qualities that a disciple must develop is these 3: submitting with humility, right? We have this story of Satyakama, where he wants to receive. He wants to receive the highest knowledge from a guru. Then when he'll be searching, he will be meeting Rishi Gautama, and he approaches him. The boy felt that he must be my guru and he can teach me the highest knowledge. But the guru asks, who is your father? Who is your mother? Where did you come from? What is your clan and all? So then when the boy goes and asks the mother, then the mother says, when I was in youth, I worked in so many houses. I don't know who your father is. Please tell your guru the same. I am Jabala and you are Satyakama. You are Satyakama Jabala. Go and say the same to your guru. And the boy goes and says without any hesitation. And by hearing that, the guru was so touched because the boy was so honest and truthful. He accepted him as his student and he taught the highest knowledge. I mean, there is an extension to this story also, but here I wanted to bring to the qualities of a disciple what he must have. He goes and, the guru sends him and give him some bulls and cows, and then he will ask him to make them so many cows. And then from the bull, the boy learns the knowledge, and from the swan, he will learn the knowledge. From the fire god, he will learn the knowledge. Like how the boy is open to receive, to learn the knowledge from nature also, right? Even after learning from all these, the knowledge from the beings which are a part of nature, again he'll come back to the guru, and then again, of course, I have learned the highest knowledge from these beings, but still, being my guru, you have to impart me finally, so that I reach the highest reality, right? So what shows in this story is the boy, he has that humility to receive that highest knowledge, right? And he has that inquisitiveness. Inquisitive means asking questions. Questions is not like to test it. It's not to test the guru, but to ask with lot of curiosity to receive the knowledge, to receive, go more deeper and deeper. That's why whenever we ask the questions to master, it should not be like like I am there, my identity should be shown. It's not like that. When we have the real questions in our heart, we may ask him, and in our heart also we if we can ask, those questions will be answered, right? Through books and from external sources, yes, to some extent, but the real inquiry is heart to heart connection that will resolve all our questions, right? And service, that's the most important quality. This attitude of service will remove all the blockages. The service is not the God or Guru is not expecting the service, but it is for us to remove all the blocks which obstructs the flow of knowledge. So when we are working, with what kind of attitude we are working? So with this approach, these three qualities, when we approach a learned ones, then the flood tide of knowledge flows into the heart of the disciples. They can't even stop when we go with these three qualities. So that is the example we can have. Satyakama is the best example that we can have for this shloka, right? So pranipataha, pariprashnaha, seva. These are the three aspects we always remember as disciples, and even to our students when they are studying, what kind of attitude they should hold towards the teachers. And anyone, it's not just the guru. If we are seeking the knowledge, we should go with this attitude, then automatically, then naturally, the flow happens from the other person's heart, right? This, if we can teach our students, if they remember all these three aspects, then they will excel in whatever they do. If we can instill these values in our, these qualities in our younger generations, right? That's very important. Okay, now we can have some of you raise your hands and we can have the recitation of the shlokas. Sister Kritika, any more? Sister Seema. Okay. Sister Kritika and Sister Seema for this shloka. Please unmute yourself. Yajñātvāna punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhūtānyasheshena drakshasyas manyato mayi. I'll recite once more. Yajñātvāna punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhūtānyasheshena drakshasyatmanyato mayi.
यज्ञात्वान पुनर्मोहम् एवैयास्यसि पाण्डव येन भूतानि अशेषेण द्रक्ष्यासि आत्मनै अतो मयि. Yeah, Drakshasyat Manyathomai. Correct. Thank you. Yes, Sister Seema.
यज्ञत्वा न पुनर्मोहम् एवैयास्यसि पाण्डव येन भूतान्यशेषेण द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि.
Thank you. Realizing that true knowledge, you will not go to delusion, O Arjuna. By that knowledge of inner experience, you shall see all beings without exception, in your own self and also in me. So when you reach out to those learned ones with these qualities, with these attitudes, you will gain the knowledge, and that kind of knowledge when you gain, you will not go to delusion. And when you receive that knowledge, what happens? Not only will not go to delusion, you will be able to see all the beings in your own self and also in me. It's a continuation actually. Brother Murari, Brother Padmanabhan, and Brother Jay Prakash, you can recite this shloka.
Yeah. Sister.
Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparah sanyatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhi gacchati. Yes, Brother Murari, you can go ahead and recite the shloka.
Yeah. Namaste, sister. Sradhyavan lavati jnanam tatpara hyanyatendriya jnanam lavdha parasvanti achirenaya dhigacchati.
Thank you. Brother Padmanabhan.
श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति.
Jai Prakash Brother.
श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्ति
Knowledge. It is beyond that actually. It's not just this, it is we attain knowledge. So we should think, why do we need that knowledge? And what this kind of knowledge does to us and how to seek that knowledge, right? But if we are talking about how to seek knowledge, we have already learned. These are the qualities or attitudes that we develop as the disciple. The humility, actually humility leads to surrender, right? Submitting yourself with humility or in the state of surrender and with attitude of devotion and with faith and inquisitiveness and seva bhava. All these things will help us receive the knowledge. That is how part is resolved and why this knowledge is necessary. All actions lead to knowledge only. When we are performing, having any action by keeping this knowledge as a backup, then automatically we have learned the all the actions will be dissolved or merged, right? And this is the only means to cross the ocean of sins. So the knowledge is required. People think that knowledge is it will make us egoistic and all. The knowledge makes us egoistic when that is not backed by bhakti. When the knowledge is backed by bhakti, automatically the karma will also have these two aspects as a backup. So one is backing the other. It is like that. They are integrated, very well integrated in each other. Karma, bhakti, jnana, when they are integrated, then it is the holistic aspect. Right? What this jnana does to us. So it helps us understand the oneness, to become one with the divine. It burns the effects of action to ashes. It is the ultimate purifier, helps us reach the ultimate. Fire of self-control is kindled, right? So this is what jnana does to us. When we gain it with the kind of attitude that was mentioned in the Tadvidhi Pranipatena. So this is the gist of jnana, right? And what heartfulness says is whatever jnana that we gain, is it enough? Or jnana is ever changing and ever expanding state. It is a state. It's an ever changing and ever expanding state. It's a practical realization of the condition prevailing at each chakra or point on a spiritual journey. That's what in the text, Complete Works of Ramchandra, written by Babuji, if you read that, I suggest all of you to read that jnana part of it. And it talks about the 13 chakras of spiritual journey. Even the spiritual anatomy book helps us understand this jnana well. So when we cross each state, then the moment we touch that, the spiritual, as per heartfulness, there are 13 chakras in the spiritual journey. So as we touch each state, then we gain the knowledge and then we should move on, right? Our abilities will continue to become more and more refined until we reach a stage characterized by purity, discernment, and wisdom. That's how heartfulness defines jnana, right? So we may think, or when we learn the Gita, when Lord Krishna talks about dhyana yogas, we may think that these are four paths, but these are four paths which are not different. They are integrated into each other. So when people think that these three are different, then that is not the complete knowledge. Then that is not the complete perspective. These karma, bhakti, jnana are never separate. They are always becoming dependent on each other, right? So, and also it says it represents body, mind, and soul of all existence. So only when they are integrated in oneness, then only we'll be able to reach the union, that yoga, right? So the articles, that's why I have requested all of you to read the articles. The Karma Bhakti Jnana Part 1 and Part 2 were shared with you. So beautifully, it will help us understand the concept of these four parts of yoga given by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. See, even the creation started The bhakti is always an underlying element, right? Even before the creation started, bhakti always existed. And then when the creation started, that's when karma started, the movement, right? And then the thinking, that is jnana. The thinking aspect here is jnana. Beautifully, Daji has written, and in a very simplistic way, he has defined the karma, bhakti, jnana, right? So we should understand that these three always exist since the beginning of the universe. Right? These are the fundamental of life. How can we divide each part of it when we follow one? So when Arjuna was asking such questions, that means it shows that the state is yet to is yet to reach that state. I mean, again, it's for us. When we think that each path is different, then we have to go to the higher state to receive that, to know that these three are the one and the same, integrated with each other, and then always they exist. So nobody can remove or divide. Karma, bhakti, and jnana are different compartments. They are always integrated and they are always one, right? This is the concluding aspect of the chapter 4. Right? There is no karma without jnana, right? We cannot perform any actions without jnana. No jnana without bhakti. That jnana should be backed by bhakti. No bhakti without jnana and karma. And then the selfless karma leads to bhakti. And all three join at the midpoint of our being, that is the human heart. Why we meditate on the human? Why we meditate on the heart, the divine essence in the heart, right? That is the reason when people ask you also why we meditate on the heart, you can beautifully bring these three aspects. These three join at the heart. So it is here that we embark on our journey of integration through the practices of heartfulness. How heartfulness practices help us bring all these aspects together. Because when we are leading a life, these three elements are always there. So that's where the meditation come into picture, right? The meditating on the heart, we call it Raja Yoga. So these three joining together and then making the Raja Yoga happen, that is the surest path of reality. So now these four are not different. And when we are meditating on the heart, these four paths of yoga are always integrated with each other, and that gives the holistic perspective of a life. Right? That's about fourth chapter, and fifth chapter is not something different. It starts again when these points will be shared with you. These slides will be shared with you in the form of screenshots, whatever we discussed now, right? Fifth chapter again continues with Arjuna's question. It doesn't end there. Okay. It's a continuation of fourth chapter, whatever we have discussed so far. The title of the fourth chapter is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, and title of fifth chapter is Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Karma Sannyasa Yoga, yoga of action and knowledge, renunciation. Sannyasa means renunciation. Okay. So the first shloka, it starts with Arjuna's question. In many chapters, it starts like that. So, O Lord, you praised karma sannyasa, the path of renunciation of actions, and you also advised to karma yoga. So please tell me decisively which of the two is more beneficial. Arjuna's confusion here, whether karma yoga is greater or karma sannyasa yoga is greater. That's what is his question here. Karma yoga, yoga of action, karma sannyasa yoga, path of renunciation of action. So what do you think? What is better between sannyasa yoga or karma yoga? You can share your reflections. This is Arjuna's question, right? Because he was confused. So that means in general humans are confused between karma sannyasa yoga and karma yoga. And the Lord has praised this karma sannyasa yoga, and also he is asking me to perform karma yoga. And what is it? Why is he telling like that? Right? We also get this question. I request you, what is your spontaneous, after going through 4th chapter, what is your spontaneous response? Let this session be interactive. Okay, new people. Yes, Sister Kanchan.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I feel it is a combination of two. Just because we say karma sannyasa yoga, it does not mean that we don't.
I think karma yoga is the method of performing the karma, and once you are performing the karma, then the karma sannyasa comes in, that how to dedicate that karma.
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you. Sister Payal.
Yes, sister. So, what I understood is like from karma sannyas, it can also mean the feeling of inaction, which is arise from the action. So that is same as a karma, maybe.
Okay. Nice reflections. Actually, these reflections will be really helpful for us to understand. So let us see what Lord is responding to Arjuna. These shlokas are not a part of it, but to set the context, the essence of these shlokas are important. Right? Krishna is saying both the path of karma sannyasa and karma yoga lead to the supreme goal. But karma yoga is superior to karma sannyasa. The karma yogas who neither desire nor hate anything should be considered always renounced. Free from all dualities, they are easily liberated from the bonds of material energy. Only the ignorant speak of Sankhya or karma sannyasa and karma yoga as different. Those who are truly learned say that by applying ourselves to any of these paths, one can achieve the results of both. So, what the Lord is intending to say here is both are not different, right? Same question Arjuna asked, right? He asked whether Sankhya, the yoga of knowledge, is greater or the karma. When you are saying that the yoga of knowledge is greater, why are you asking me to do this again and again, this dreadful action? Again, the similar question he is repeating after listening to this, right? So, what is that for us symbolically? What the Gita is trying to tell us, right? Sannyasa means what? Detaching, right? The detachment, renunciation, and all those things. When we generally talk about the detachment, means when we feel really low, right? When we feel kind of dejected. That was the state of Arjuna also. So we also sometimes feel dejected when things are not favorable according to our situations, or when we feel difficult situations in our life. Our natural tendency is to talk of detachment. I hope you agree with all of you. That can happen anytime, right? So how the Lord is going to address this point? So he wants to address this point either through karma yoga or through jnana karma sannyasa yoga and all those things. We cannot evolve by escaping from the situations. We can evolve only by facing the situations. That's what we have learned through chapter 3 and chapter 4, and chapter 5 is also going in the same direction. So here in Bhagavad Gita, it is talking only about evolution. Right? The spirit of the Gita is all about evolution. Right? So how to understand sannyasa? That is very important. He is clearly mentioned through Karma Yoga that, and Brother Tomar rightly said, the Karma Yoga is a method, it is a process, and the sannyasa is a state. That when we perform the process, we automatically reach some state. So he beautifully said the same aspect is, or we can say, but he was thinking, Arjuna was thinking that these two are different things. And Krishna already clearly said, when people think that these two are different, then they are ignorant. That means they are yet to reach the state to understand that they have to come to that state to understand. So he dismisses his question and he is directing or diverting Arjuna to a different direction so that he will be able to raise his consciousness. Right? So that is what the essence of these shlokas talk about. So he's giving the clear indication that karma yoga is a process and karma sannyasa is an end. Right? It is not the escapism. What Arjuna was talking is sannyasa means he can go away from the situation and he can take the sannyasa so that he can avoid this. Right? So avoiding and escaping is not a strategy at all. It's not a strategy for evolution. So one cannot get confused between the state of the being and process of the being. So karma yoga is the process of the being, and karma sannyasa is a state of the being. That awareness should be gained. That's what the first 4 to 5 shlokas talk about in this chapter. Right? Now let me share the screen. I hope you are all clear with these things. If it is clear, just show me a thumbs up. Yeah, this is important. This creates a foundation for the next shlokas for us. Karma yoga is the process of a being. Karma sannyasa is the state of a being. This is the first shloka that talks about. Okay, now the volunteers can raise their hands. New volunteers, again, they are not the same ones who spoke and who shared reflections and who recited the shlokas. There are a lot of you who are yet to open yourselves. It would be nice to listen to all of you. Brother Shrikant. 2 Shrikants are here. Okay, 2 Shrikants can open. One is Shrikant Heshef and one is Shrikant. Please open your audios and videos. Sister Bhagyashri also. 3 of you. Yeah. So first Bhagyashri and then Shrikant HFN and then Shrikant. Yat Sankhyaif prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate ekam sankhyan cha yogan cha yah pashyati sa pashyati.
यस्याग्रैः प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति.
Thank you.
यत्साङ्ख्यै प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति च पश्यति.
Brother Shrikant.
Yatsa Sankhai. Sister, it is a bit difficult. I'll try next time.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. You can listen. You all of you, please listen to the shlokas you have in Heartfulness Learning Academy and read and then come so that it will be easy for all of you to recite. Listening is the key, nothing else. No problem. Next shloka. Okay. So again, the same thing it is talking. The condition that is attained by the followers of knowledge, the Sankhya, is also attained by the followers of yoga of meditation. Sankhya and yoga are one. Here the term yoga is used for the Raja Yoga. Okay. Yoga are one. He who sees this truly perceives. Because the next shloka is the Dhyana Yoga, right? Dhyana Yoga is also can also be termed as Raja Yoga, can also be termed as Atma Sanyama Yoga. So that is the 6th chapter. The 5th chapter is connecting the links between the 6 also. So Sankhya Yoga and Dhyana Yoga or Raj Yoga, that's what this shloka is talking about. Again, when it comes to knowledge, the same thing that we discussed in the 4th chapter. That's why I was saying it's a connection. So it is an ever-changing state, ever-expanding journey, right? And whenever we reach, right, the jnana, according to heartfulness, is referred to as the inner condition of mind when we reach different chakras on our spiritual journey. And it's a practical realization of the condition. Jnana is not just by reading or hearing something, it is something beyond also. That is also jnana. That is one step. But that may be superficial when we are stuck there. But by taking that jnana and going deeper is very important. So jnana is a practical realization of the condition when we are going higher and higher in our spiritual journey. Right? That's why Babuji says it is ever changing and ever expanding. So the jnana will vary according to the level we have reached on the journey. So this is how it is talked, right? So this is the spiritual journey, and in the inner circle is talking about the oneness, become one with that ultimate. And in the periphery, what happens? We think ourselves as a separate identity. We are yet not one with that. So at the center, what happens? The bhakti infused karma, right? The last part of 4th chapter was talking about when the bhakti is infused in karma, then the karma is dissolved, right? And in between state is the bhakti, the condition. It helps us to, the bhakti helps us to develop that inner condition to perform that karma. And how oneness happens is so outside when we are working as a separate identity, this is outward action, like the shrama that Taji was talking about in the previous chapters, right? So it is just the karma that we do at a superficial level to achieve something materially. It's also important, but we don't get stuck there again. We go deeper and deeper and deeper because the purpose of the human being is not just performing karma and stay there. By performing karma, you evolve, right? That's what this diagram talks about. So, what is important here is the key here is it helps all our heartfulness practice help us create a recurring cycle of bhakti infused karma. That is very important. Whatever we do day in and day out, the relaxation, why we are introducing the relaxation to the people. So it creates a certain state of inner condition which helps us to go deeper and helps us develop that inner condition, and then we'll be able to perform our karmas with that inner condition. And how cleaning helps us remove the interferences between the outer consciousness and the inner center. There is no escape. We have to perform, we have to act in the world, in the material world. That is called outer consciousness. Right? It is important. But there must be connection. And that connection will happen when there are no disturbances in between. So the cleaning helps us remove all the obstructions and the blockages between the inner reality and the outer consciousness. And prayer, what it does, to remind us of real self and purpose of life and deepen this concept. And any action that we perform must be infused with bhakti. So this is the practical aspect that we need to discuss and we need to follow day in and day out. And that leads to constant remembrance, doing everything and anything in the name of God or divinity or the master, right? So this is the cycle. This cycle is very important. The same examples are given because these things have to be repeated so that it will be understand. It will be easy for us to understand the Bhagavad Gita in depth, in connection with the reality. These pictures will be shared. So that these are like mind maps. So that quickly will come and help. Okay. So in this video, there will be a video which talk about AEIOU to understand all these concepts. The concept of AEIO is very important. Let me play that video to bring the connections. Deeply introspect on this video. Are you able to listen to this? Just show me a thumbs up if you are listening. If you're
I've been asked quite often about this AEIOU concept, acronym for acquiring, enlivening, intensifying, being one with, and being united with the spiritual conditions. People ask, how did you come to that? It is not my invention, it is here in our book, Towards Infinity. If you read the first description of the first knot, you'll come to know it. My great puzzle is this, that this book is by the Master. So when we read this book, we should read in the spirit with which a great Master has written this book. When he says, when you acquire a condition, he gives the onus of acquiring the condition unto us. When you acquire, when your devotion takes you further, when you enliven this, when you intensify this. But from a devotee's perspective, from our perspective, our attitude, it is the Master who does it for us. And that should be our attitude. See? When he says, oh, you got this condition because of yourself, if we start owning up to that state, then this whole book will be a failure. See? It's a very subtle difference, you see. Master will give credits to us. Nevertheless, we should never forget our position and say, without their help, nothing is possible. This is the attitude of lowliness, attitude of a vacuum that is created in the heart of an abhyasi. This vacuum is created only through this intense love and longing. Longing is the key. Right? So I would read that particular aspect to you all. Babuji Maharaj talks about the first knot, and he says, the real state of enlightenment comes when we get into full consciousness of the condition of enlivenment. And after imbibing its effect, secure our merging in it. He has described all AEIOU in one sentence. He says the real state of enlightenment comes only when we get into a full consciousness, when we become fully aware of the condition of enlivenment, that it is really living and thriving in my body, in my entire system, where I'm pulsating with those feelings. And then when those feelings are really, really pulsating in your whole system, every cell of your body is dancing with those vibrations, we imbibe that. This imbibing happens automatically. And this securing up, merging also happens as a natural course. Of course, there are things that can accelerate all these things, like when we write diaries, for example, when we interact with people who are of similar minds. When two lunatics meet, as Babuji says, they have nothing else to talk about what made them so lunatic. When two bhaktas meet, when two devotees meet, what else they have except tears of joy to share with each other? There is no politics there. The moment you bring in politics, your spiritual condition will take a toss. And there are abhyasis, I have noticed. And there are abhyasis. There are abhyasis who are full of sarcasm and complaints and whatnot. There are other abhyasis who shy away from such discussions. And they choose to remain in their own beautiful states. They don't like to corrupt it with these gossips. Furthermore, where Babuji Maharaj says, when we develop this state and merge into its consciousness, means awareness, we come to know all about it, not just little bit. We come to know all about it and thus become jnani, that is enlightened up to that extent. So if you are on the first knot and you become absolutely immersed in the first knot with this awareness of the environment, then you have become jnani, or you have seen everything unto that extent. The blissful state brought about by it tempts our heart to go ahead. You see, this is a guru's wish, that the blissful state that is given to them will at least tempt the abhyasi to proceed further. You see, it's like, carrot putting in front of us. So they want us to be tempted by these conditions. And our touch with it offers inducement to enter into the next stage. Now, this is again, when you see, it is from Babuji's perspective. He says, and our touch with it, with this new inkling that they're enticing you with, offers the inducement to enter the next stage. But a real seeker, to me, when I read this, should I be tempted by it? Does that mean that I should start craving for the next stage? It's a catch-22 situation, you see, where you are. This can also be misunderstood as that you're a greedy person as per a spirituality. At least simmer yourself, savor your conditions. Automatically, when we are in that state, we have much to do with what has been given. Digest that, and automatically whatever has to happen will happen in its course. So the idea of even indulging with the new conditions is also blasphemous to a true devotee. So this AEIOU, when we talk about, it is to understand the whole entire mechanism of it, but nothing is in our hands. Nothing whatsoever except our practice and a little bit of alertness and carefulness from our side, so as not to distort what has been given to us as prasad. Spiritual conditions are prasads. We have to appreciate it in a different way. See, it is not like an ordinary gift. When we carefully put away so nicely a love letter that you have received in your teenage times, what do you do with those love letters? Whether you happen to be lucky to marry the same person or not, but the imprints of those love letters will always be there. If not physically, at least they will remain hidden in the hearts. You carefully keep them protected. What about this gift coming from beloved Babuji? Do we care enough to retain them? We should ask this fundamental question. Are we able to appreciate those conditions as if given by the beloved and stock it up nicely, hide it somewhere in the deeper recesses of our heart? Can we do that? If we can, then you would have crossed the entire journey with one step.
It's a long talk, but I feel it's connecting all the dots that we have been discussing, the path of karma, bhakti, jnana, and the definition of jnana. You may share some reflections in connection with the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody? The new ones who didn't speak so far would like to share? Yes, Brother Narendra.
Sorry, my name is Jyoti. I should have changed the name.
Okay, yes, please change.
I think this AEIOU is basically, in a nutshell, all the karma are summarized. And it's not only after meditation, but I think what next step is to maintain the meditative state. What Daji usually encourages is it gives the hint, like that kind of becomes your jnana. You are retaining the condition, that is the jnana, and then further when you are going back in the waking meditative state, like when you are carrying on with your day's chores and day's duties, and then how you're merging it in that day's duties, that actually jnana and karma, where they meet and they're one and the same. And it also helps cultivating bhakti. The AEIOU also helps cultivating bhakti that we carry forward in our regular 24 hours cycle.
Wonderful. Sister Ranjana. You can unmute and speak. I'll share this video with all of you. Yes, Shri Vidya sister, go ahead.
What I felt was, I remember seeing in the session that we had with Rashi sister yesterday, about the chapter 2 only we were discussing, where I think Nirguna, Saguna, and then Sakara, where you become one. You become that particular knowledge that you are learning. So AEIOU is a way for us to move into that of becoming. So we receive the jnana we receive those conditions. So that is the jnana that we are receiving in our meditation. And AEIOU helps us to make it ours. So we become that. And finally, we merge into that condition and we cease to exist. So that means that particular transformation happens in us. So this is what I felt in this.
Wonderful reflection. Thank you.
Thank you.
So far we have discussed the context of chapter 5 in connection with 4 also, and the summary of chapter 5, and we have learned one shloka as a part of our syllabus. And this chapter 5 summary, what it talks actually is, the first 6 shlokas talk about Arjuna's question anyway, And Krishna's response and clarification on what sannyasa is, that we have learned as karma as the process of a being and sannyasa as a state of a being. And from 7th shloka to 16th shloka, Lord talks about karma yoga leads to sannyasa and how renunciation happens while in action. So without performing the actions, the renunciation cannot happen. And the 17th shloka to 26th shloka, state of mind of karma yogi turns sannyasi. It's a small chapter. Fifth chapter is a small chapter which has only 29 shlokas. Right? Attributes of a pandita, a wise man, attributes of a yogi. So we will be learning what is the difference between a pandita and a yogi and how to reach absolute freedom. So this is what the entire 5th chapter talks about in a nutshell. So I request all of you to go through all these 12 shlokas, right? Please go through so that the first level of layer, you will be able to get the taste of it. And then when we discuss here, we can take the essence deeper and deeper, right? Just keep listening to the shlokas, read the meanings, and meditate on the shlokas. Then when we discuss, the understanding will be more deeper. So this is where we end. Now I will take few reflections. Yes, Brother Jaykumar raised his hand. Go ahead, brother.
As Daji was always saying, no, that we are in work in progress. This AEIOU also makes me to think. I mean, you do the karma that you are acquiring the knowledge. That AEIOU makes you to live with those knowledge and think about it. You evolve yourself and go to the next level. So it's a continuous process. Here I'm mixing this karma also, where he says without any attachment do the karma. So if we combine everything, I'm trying to get a more clarity now, that how without any attachment when you do, and with the AAU concept, we are evolving.
Yes, it's wonderful. Anybody else would like to share anything? And those who are would like to leave, you can leave. Those who would like to share any reflections, please do share. Rama is also here. Hi, Rama. Good evening. Good to see you.
Glad to be here. Just want to say that this is really nourishment for the soul on a Friday evening for me here in the US. Thank you.
Touching point, deeply touched. What aspects of chapter 4 touched you deeply? You may share from chapter 4. You can share on the chat box also. And you can speak as well. And after chapter 4, there will be those 15 questions. Please attempt those 15 questions. That will be a self-assessment. Vivek Singh, please go ahead. You need not to ask me. We may stay for 5 more minutes and then we can discuss and then we can close. I think you can unmute on your own.
Yeah, thank you, sister. Miss, how could I relate? Miss, I listened and I understood, but I got relieved when I could relate today's session of yours with what I had long back. Means once the first time I visited Kana Shanti Vanam. So may I tell, sister? Miss,
Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. So I was walking and I was walking through various scapes, and then one gentleman told me that get rid of all your doubts. You are just required to take first 2 steps in the remembrance, and next 8 steps you will automatically come to know. You will not be required to take any effort. And I'm carrying that thought in my mind, and still I'm getting benefited out of that. Most recently was